topic. Being accountable versus being sorry. Um, to me, I think uh, in terms of for myself, I'm trying to get to a point of a habit to, in my point of view, and it doesn't have to apply to anybody else. I would want to almost, not almost, I want to delete the phrase sorry out of my personal vocabulary. And I want to explain where I'm going with this. Obviously, you can get I'm talking given the topic, but that doesn't mean that I say that I'm not remorseful for making any mistake or anything. But the word, when I looked up the word sorry and the definition, you have to ask yourself. So the definition is of sorry, feeling distress, especially through sympathy with someone else's misfortune. Um, I don't think that's something that anybody should personally feel, even in situations of misfortune or anything like that. Um, I think that uh, it's to be sorry. It's just like you're in a unfortunate state, a weakened state, a distressful state. This all has to do with your feelings and your emotions, and that's not something anybody should feel, even when in situations where somebody does go through some misfortune or something like that. And the general saying, and this is just it's general common you know talk and stuff like that, I want to say. But so you see somebody might slip and fall or whatever, just go through an unfortunate misfortune, you say, oh, I'm sorry or whatever. But it's like, really think about that, it's kind of like you're not helping them. You know what I'm saying? For one, when you're saying that, you just kind of like connecting with their low situation, their misfortune, and that doesn't help better the situation that they're in, just by saying or acknowledging, hey, I see you're in an unfortunate situation. Like, you feel me? That doesn't help the person who's in that situation. You know what I'm saying? And you know, to me, that's where you know, for me, accountability um, comes into play, and I believe that. First, let me just go off of read the definition of accountable. Of a person, organization, or institution required or expected to justify actions or decisions responsible, explicable, understandable. See, now that's what is needed in situations. We need a level of understanding and responsibility, especially in situations of misfortune or unfortune. You know what I'm saying? That's going to lead to improvement through understanding and responsibility. You know what I'm saying? When you're accountable, you know what I'm saying? And um, you're not gonna, when you're accountable, you're taking control and power in your own life and not wanting to be in that same unfortunate state or situation. When you're sorry, or even when you tell somebody sorry, what does that lead to? It just leads, especially when you said you tell somebody, sorry, you're basically telling that person you're gonna be in the same sorry situation. The next time they get in a situation like that, you're gonna tell them, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then the next time unfortunately say, "Oh, I'm sorry." Like it's basically a repeated of being in a sorry, weakened, less fortunate state. And what we want is a change. We don't want the same sorry emotional state. You want to, take control of power, be responsible to not put yourself back into that sorry situation. So those unfortunate situations don't repeat itself. You know what I'm saying? So, um, it's, to me, I think when it comes to the word accountability, a lot of the times it's people think that it's usually associated with, taking up for doing something bad or doing something wrong, and so you have to take up responsibility for uh for doing that, or being accountable leads to you being locked up in prison or something like that, which is possible if you've done something uh to that could lead you to jail or prison. But the reality is like I said in the definition of accountability, it just requires you to be responsible, you know what I'm saying, for what you do and what you say. You know what I'm saying? You have to be responsible for that. You know what I'm saying? And with being responsible, you know what I'm saying, for that, you're not you're taking control and power in your life, you know what I'm saying, rather than being, sorry, where you're kind of like in this kind of victimhood mentality state. You're feeling distress and all that. When you're accountable, you're being responsible. And in the world we live in, you are responsible for your actions, whether they're good or bad. You have to be responsible for. You know what I'm saying? No, you are responsible for them. So you know what I'm saying? It's just, the mindset that I think, you know, especially for someone who wants to improve in their life, um, take on the accountability mentality. I take on that accountability mentality. I understand there are perks to, you know, in some sense, being sorry or being in a victimhood state. You know what I'm saying? Because you can possibly get past certain things or whatever, but all in all, it just leaves you in like a loser mentality state and a weakened state, vulnerable state, and feeling weak and all this other stuff, or feeling hopeless. And I don't think that if one wants to improve in life or get ahead, or move on in their life, or learn, you can't be in that mentality. You have to be accountable. You have to be responsible for what you say and what you do, regardless. You know what I'm saying? Period.